What is going on, y'all? And today I'm here with a little bit of a different video. I want to talk a bit about a demo for a game that I just recently played and I genuinely enjoyed. And I just want to overall shine some praise on this game based on what I've played so far, based on what's accessible so far. This game is called Alabaster Dawn. It's currently available on Steam. I'm sure it's available on other platforms. Now, the demo is about an hour and some change, so it's not too much to mess around with currently, but just enough to get a feel for what the game's currently going on, what the gameplay is like, and so on and so forth. If you're someone who's into indie games and RPGs overall, then this game might just be for you. So this game is developed by Radical Fish Games and is a pretty under-the-radar studio as of what I know. They're a German development studio, and the previous title under the belt, which I would highly recommend, is named CrossCode. I have a small overview that I went over with this game and my overall impressions of the previous title that I did play from this company. But based on the overall impression that I got from CrossCode and the attention to detail and effort put in that game, I can tell that this game kind of has that same kind of direction. But Radical Fish tends to have a very unique perspective on how to create an open world, how to have a story, how to place it, having other references to media, Easter eggs, providing the player with all sorts of challenges and puzzles, and of course, a story that's overall intriguing and a very interesting journey to be a part of. But I won't go too much in depth with the story because there's not too much to go over in the first place, so it kind of saves me the time of explaining it. So pretty much in this game, you're playing as a chosen one, kind of, where you wield these artifact-like weapons that are blessed to you by the gods, which you can use to fight off these hives and different enemy types known as Nyx. Now, in this segment of the story, the artifacts and the powers from the gods, they randomly disappear as you're fighting these Nyx or enemy-like creatures, and then you transition and you wake up as a new character. This character's name is Juno, or Juno. I'm going with Juno. You wake up in this tomb-like place of rest, which is kind of like a temple, sanctuary kind of thing. I'm not too sure. But now it's your job to save your land from these entities. Okay, but that's enough story explanation so far. There's not too much to really go over with the story, but it's a basic kind of story of light versus dark, basically based on the impression that I've been given so far. But combat time. Okay, maybe I'm glazing a little bit and you can say it in the comments or whatnot, but Radical Fish's combat systems are just amazing. I love it so much. Okay, so to those of you who have never played CrossCode, I want to explain a little bit of the similarities that gameplay to this game's current gameplay. So this game provides you with weapons, and each of them have their own unique combos and skill tree and so on. This game takes pieces from CrossCode and does something a little bit new. So in CrossCode, how the combat works is you have your basic melee attack, ranged attack, guard, dash, basic combat you would find in most games and RPGs. Then you have your combat arts and elemental modes, which switch up the gameplay entirely. Now, depending on the element mode and which nodes you choose for your elements, you have a set HP, attack, defense, and focus to them. So depending on the element you switch to, some will have a disadvantage against certain enemy types and some will have an advantage, and some of them will completely obliterate any enemy you come across, also depending on level, so on and so forth, giving the game a sense of balance. You could freely switch between these modes, giving the player a sense of freedom to control the pace of their combat, how they wish to eliminate targets throughout the game. Now in Alabaster Dawn, it's similar with some major/minor changes. We have our weapon slots, which we can use 2 weapons at a time, much like CrossCode, 1 melee weapon and 1 ranged weapon. These weapons have nodes of their own, which I would assume have different paths that the player can choose when the game fully releases, using certain skills, using certain combos, certain special attacks, so on and so forth. Outside of this, we have our divine arts, which are basically like our super or ultimate move. These moves can be our damage dealers, essentially, or will have something much more to them in the future, which is what I would assume. Now, you can swap between these weapon sets, giving the player the ability to basically change the flow of the combat. Now, this game also has a recipe system, an inventory system, journal, quest guides, so on and so forth, much like any typical RPG. Now, what's different about this game is you can manually activate certain buffs, which you couldn't really do in CrossCode from what I remember. I know that in CrossCode, if you ate certain meals or consumed certain items, you would buff that came along with it. But in this game, you can manually activate these buffs during combat, and I imagine that would change the combat pace drastically. But yeah, I do hope that this game comes out, and I hope that is everything that I imagined it. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all actually check out the demo. This video ain't sponsored, but anyway, I just wanted to share my genuine curiosity. Hopefully y'all check it out. So yep, that's it for the video, guys. Peace.